The Thunderbolts movie is dominating theaters worldwide, but over in the comics, there's a brand new take on the team, Thunderbolts 2024. What makes this version stand out? This time, the group wasn't formed by a government agency or a shadowy organization. It was created by Bucky Barnes, better known as the Winter Soldier. With a mysterious and ambitious plan, Bucky brings together a team of anti-heroes like we've never seen before. But what exactly is he up to? Let's dive into the story. It kicks off with Bucky tracking down Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. Their encounter is tense, guns drawn, eyes locked. Contessa assumes Bucky's here to kill her, which makes sense, considering his reputation as a killer of killers. In the comics, Valentina is a ruthless operator who plays hardball. She doesn't hesitate to threaten Bucky, even saying she'll put a bullet in his head and keep his metal arm as a trophy. And she means it. But Bucky isn't looking for revenge. Instead, he tells her he's already dismantled most of the Outer Circle, the shadowy organization that Contessa once supported by creating a faction called OXE. The comic doesn't spell out exactly what OXE stands for, but the important part is that Bucky is referring to events from Captain America Finale. In that series, writers Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly introduced the Outer Circle, a secret cabal founded after World War I by a man named Fortuna. Fortuna believed humanity couldn't govern itself. History was just a loop of rise and ruin. So he created a group to control global events from the shadows, maintaining the illusion of freedom and self-rule. By the end of Captain America Finale, the Outer Circle was nearly wiped out, its key players either dead or vanished. Bucky confirms this to Contessa and makes it clear. He's not here to tear down what she's built. He has a new mission, and he wants her to join him. Here's where things get interesting. Unlike past versions of the Thunderbolts, this team isn't backed by Iron Man, S.H.I.E.L.D., or General Ross. It's not even the classic reformed villain squad led by Zemo after Civil War. And it's not the Jeff Parker-era Thunderbolts who walked the line between villains and heroes. This time, the Thunderbolts are Bucky's idea, built from the ground up for a mission only he fully understands. He offers Contessa a chance to repurpose OXE for something bigger. Together, they'll recruit allies, identify threats, and take down an enemy they both know, one that's been protected by history for far too long. That's when Contessa's attitude shifts. She realizes Bucky isn't there to take her out, he's asking her to help take out something worse. She agrees. They shake hands, and the Thunderbolts' newest mission begins. 72 hours later, the story shifts to Argentina, where Sharon Carter makes her entrance. But this isn't the same Agent 13 we once knew, the one manipulated into assassinating Captain America. Sharon has evolved. Now operating as a lone guerrilla warrior, she carries the ideals once championed by Steve Rogers. These changes in her character stem largely from events in Captain America Vol. 9. Sharon's mission: clear out a remaining Hydra base. According to intel from Bucky Barnes and Contessa Valentina, this location is one of Hydra's final strongholds. Without hesitation, Sharon storms the base and eliminates every operative she encounters. But there's more to this base than meets the eye. Why target it now? Is it really just another leftover Hydra bunker? The answer? No. Something much bigger is going on here. Something tied to the return of Red Skull. If you've read Captain America Vol. 5 by Ed Brubaker, you might remember Alexander Lukin. After being defeated, Red Skull pulled a final trick to survive. He transferred his consciousness into Lukin's body. From that moment on, throughout issues 11 and 12 and beyond, the two began a battle for control over the same body. In the death of Captain America, this inner conflict was symbolized by Lukin seeing Red Skull's reflection in mirrors, an eerie metaphor for the mind struggle within. Now, Red Skull has won that fight. He's fully in control. When the Thunderbolts breach his compound, it's clear who they're dealing with. Bucky immediately demands that Lukin remove his mask, proving he knows exactly what's going on. Red Skull is back, and he's hiding in plain sight. In the middle of this tense standoff, Red Guardian suddenly appears. A member of Russia's elite superhero team, the Winter Guard, Red Guardian's backstory is worth noting. Originally, he was nearly recruited by the Soviet Union, if not for Professor Xavier stepping in and saving him. In Marvel lore, teams like the Winter Guard are often government-formed and filled through recruitment. or more accurately, forced conscription of superpowered individuals. That makes Red Guardian a national symbol of heroism in Russia. So why is he here? Turns out, his arrival was no coincidence. He reveals that he was tipped off by a third party, none other than White Widow, aka Yelena Belova. And as we've seen, Yelena is now working under Contessa's command. In short, Contessa leaked the intel to Yelena, who passed it to Red Guardian. Thanks to that chain of communication, he shows up just in time. And just like that, the Thunderbolts roster starts to take shape. Soon after, the team comes face to face with Alexander Lukin, now fully possessed by Red Skull. The confrontation escalates quickly, with verbal taunts and threats flying back and forth. Red Skull remains one of the most dangerous villains in the Marvel Universe, especially when cornered. But despite his power and strategic mind, Red Skull is utterly isolated. No allies, no backup. Not even the Masters of Evil are coming to his rescue. He's alone. Still, don't count him out. With one sudden counterattack, Red Skull nearly wipes out the entire Thunderbolts team. It's a rough beginning for the squad, getting completely outmatched on their very first mission. But the tide soon turns. Bucky and the others rally, gaining the upper hand. They use Red Guardian's shield to overpower Lukin and finally bring him down. Before his death, Lukin tries to provoke Bucky one last time. He reminds him that it was under his orders that Bucky once killed Red Skull, an act that, according to Lukin, only made Red Skull stronger. He taunts Bucky, claiming he's never truly been free. Just a pawn, whether for Red Skull, the secretive organization known as the Circle, or even Steve Rogers himself. With his final words, he whispers, "I see you, my Winter Soldier." Bucky remains cold and steady. "Everything you have built, we are going to burn it to ash," he says. "And when you do come back, whatever meat suit you decide to ride into your next Fourth Reich, know this. This isn't the last shot in our war, Red Skull. It's the first." This marks a major turning point. Bucky isn't just ending a chapter, he's starting a larger war. It's important to note, Bucky Barnes never hesitated to kill when necessary. In Ed Brubaker's run on Captain America Vol. 5, Bucky's origin was redefined. No longer just a teenage sidekick, he was revealed to be a ruthless assassin, trained to do the dirty work Captain America never could. Torture, infiltration, elimination. Bucky was shaped to be an efficient, unflinching weapon from a young age. After the confrontation, Bucky grabs Red Guardian's vodka flask, turns it into a makeshift Molotov cocktail, and hurls it into the stronghold, setting the entire place ablaze. The Thunderbolts leave the burning wreckage behind them. Elsewhere, in the basement of an undisclosed building, a red-faced man mutters to himself, 80 years. 80 long years in the dark. Time has never moved faster or been so unjust to one so noble. This world has forgotten the terror of the skull. It has for too long bowed to a pretender. An echo, a mask. They think they can end me, but they will finally learn to understand. I am the end. In the Marvel Universe, there are technically two Red Skulls. Alexander Lukin was merely a vessel, his body overtaken by the true Red Skull. But the real threat is Johann Schmidt, the original. A symbol of fascist ideology from World War II, Schmidt represents brutality, cruelty, and relentless ambition. He's so dangerous that no hero or villain wants to work with him. Meanwhile, the Thunderbolts are gearing up for their next mission. During the briefing, their handler jokes, "Bad news, Bucky, you're going to a party. Luckily, this party is filled with people you hate, so you can maintain your stoic brood and fit right in." Before Bucky pulled the trigger, Red Skull held the rank of the 8th richest person on Earth. Now, his vast fortune is being funneled into the account of an anonymous broker at a private, ultra-exclusive club known for its discretion. For most superheroes, even getting an invitation would be impossible. But in this world, shady connections are a powerful currency. Bucky's reputation as a dangerous figure opens doors that would otherwise stay locked. And this time, they're going to use that reputation to their advantage. Unlike previous operations based in places like Madripoor, a sovereign nation with laws that often protect its criminal underworld, this party is taking place right in the heart of New York City. That makes things far more complicated. In Madripoor, someone like Captain America could be executed for interfering, and no one, not even S.H.I.E.L.D., could stop it. But in New York, the stakes are even higher, and any misstep could spark serious consequences. And then comes the moment everyone's watching for. Bucky Barnes arrives at the event, flanked by two formidable allies, Yelena Belova on one side and Natasha Romanoff on the other. As soon as they step inside, Yelena's disdain is obvious. "I already hate this place," she mutters. "Please tell me you brought those beautiful big explosives of yours, Natasha." Natasha just smirks. "I brought a lot more than that. Just wait, Yelena." Bucky, always practical, chimes in. "Don't think we'll wait long. At least 75% of the people in this room have tried to kill me." Their mission is clear. Locate the briefcase or whatever high-value item they've been sent to recover. Then suddenly, the lights cut out. That's when the real nature of the venue is revealed. They're standing inside the Hellfire Club, one of the most powerful and secretive organizations in the entire Marvel Universe. And at the top of this hierarchy sits none other than Wilson Fisk, the current White King of the Hellfire Club. This moment ties directly into recent major events in the X-Men universe, particularly the Fall of X storyline. After the collapse of Krakoa, the mutant nation, things took a dark turn. Human governments and anti-mutant forces like Orcus began targeting mutants more aggressively. They seized mutant-owned property, froze bank accounts, and stripped away legal protections. To safeguard what remained, Emma Frost made a bold move. She married Tony Stark. With this legal bond, she was able to transfer all her wealth and assets to Tony, a human, without raising suspicion from Orcus. Stark's public status made him nearly untouchable. Attacking him would spark massive political and media backlash. It was a calculated step to protect mutant interests and allies. Meanwhile, Wilson Fisk, the kingpin himself, had already taken a position of power within the Hellfire Club. Though this development had been building for some time, his role as the White King gave him immense leverage. The Hellfire Club isn't just a social gathering of elites, it's a shadowy organization with global influence, resources, and connections. And Fisk used that power to create an underground transportation network for mutants. Safe passage, weapons, gear, all under the radar. However, things shifted after the Devil's Reign event, where Fisk, as mayor of New York, outlawed superhero activity in the city. Despite that, he continues to hold court at the Hellfire Club's headquarters, hosting secretive Friday night meetings with the elite. But tonight's gathering is different. Red Skull, the infamous fascist villain, is dead. Addressing the room, Fisk makes his stance clear. The Hellfire Club does not celebrate genocidal fascists, nor do we tolerate the use of National Socialist imagery. There will be no toasts to the madman of the Rhine. Tonight, we celebrate the living. At this point, the Thunderbolts begin to realize something is off. Turns out the person inheriting everything Red Skull left behind is Wilson Fisk. But why him? What reason could there be for arranging things this way? And that's not all. The item they've been assigned to steal, the so-called briefcase, isn't just some locked box. It's actually hidden inside a living being named Vast, a massive living vault. Vast is a brand new character in the Marvel Universe. This might be the first and only time we ever see him. His body contains a seemingly endless storage space, like a magical bag with no bottom. One character issues a warning. That's a pocket dimension in his ribcage. Only one rule with Vast. Whatever goes in, only he can take out. Vast is well known in Europe and often hired by the mysterious organization known as OXE for high-level off-the-record transport jobs. He's not just a vault, he's a professional courier with powers no one else has. Following this reveal, Wilson Fisk addresses the crowd gathered in the Hellfire Club's Grand Hall. He doesn't hold back. No more secrets, he says. So, with those caveats out of the way, I invite you to enjoy your stay in these august halls. Once the purview of the world's elite, then a harbor for ascendant mutants, now yours, but more specifically, mine. Then comes the warning. So I leave you with one final, paramount warning. If anyone here attempts any measure of larceny, subterfuge, or murder in these halls tonight that has not been specifically permitted by your White King, I will savor every moment as I crush the life from your heart. And with Fisk, that's not an empty threat. No one dares to cross him, because those who do, usually don't survive. Bucky Barnes knows this better than anyone. He still holds a deep hatred for Fisk, who nearly beat him to death during the events of Devil's Reign, Winter Soldier. What was supposed to be a solo mission turned into a nightmare, as Bucky found himself face to face with the ruthless Kingpin, calculated, cold, and completely unrelenting. Meanwhile, in a surprising turn, Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow, activates a hidden feature in her outfit. Turns out, the dress she's been wearing the entire time isn't just fabric. It's a symbiote, one that's been genetically enhanced, tying directly into the latest Venom storylines. And yes, Natasha now has access to all the standard abilities of a symbiote host: enhanced strength, speed, rapid regeneration, and even the power to shape weapons from her own body. As the Thunderbolts execute their mission, things quickly begin to spiral out of control. Wilson Fisk receives an urgent alert. Elena and Natasha are in the building, and when the Black Widow shows up, it usually means one of two things: theft or assassination. Either way, it's bad news for Fisk. Meanwhile, Bucky Barnes steps up and takes full responsibility. He declares, "The Skull, he's dead. I'm the one who killed him." Then, with a warning, he adds, "And whoever you're holding this money for, whatever remnants of Skull's operation that are giving you your 10%, I'm going to bring double the pain down on you and your little fetish party here. That's a promise." Fisk scoffs and laughs in his face. "Remnants? You really have no idea? You think this is what's left of Red Skull's empire?" Suddenly, Fisk lashes out and attacks Bucky, shouting, "You killed Lucan, but the Skull still lives. Let those words be a reminder of your futility as you are beaten to death." Then he turns away and says coldly, "Now, if you'll excuse me, Mr. Barnes, there are thieves in my house." Facing the rest of the Hellfire Club, Fisk commands, "It's time again to earn your privilege." Instantly, Bucky is surrounded. Knives, guns, everything pointed at him, but he doesn't flinch. He dives into combat, taking down attackers with brutal efficiency. He doesn't kill anyone, but he neutralizes every threat and escapes through the elevator shaft. Elsewhere, Elena and Natasha track down Vast, who's just about to make off with Red Skull's treasure. Natasha smirks. "Nice shtick, though. We'll remember you fondly." Fisk enters the scene and fires back, "As I will ensure that no one remembers either of you." Bucky returns, and a brief but intense fight breaks out between the Thunderbolts and Fisk. It's not a full-on war, but just enough chaos to give Natasha an opening. She breaks into Vaste's vault, where all of Red Skull's lifelong fortune is hidden. As the team moves in, Elena looks at Vast and says, "There's someone inside you. You might want to get them out." At first, it sounds like betrayal, but in reality, it's a clever trick. Since only Vast can remove anything from his body, he instinctively reaches in and pulls Elena out, unwittingly giving the Thunderbolts a perfect chance to counterattack, push Fisk back, and escape. Later, Fisk confronts Vast. "I thought nothing could be taken from you." Vast replies, "That's true, but they left something behind, explosives." Right on cue, Natasha triggers the detonation, destroying the entire vault. Before retreating, Bucky leaves Fisk with a final warning. "Next time you hear thunder, Wilson, stay the hell out of the lightning." Then, the Thunderbolts vanish into the shadows. After the battle, it's revealed that Natasha and Bucky are in a romantic relationship. Soon after, Bucky meets with Contessa. She brings some good news. OXE has tracked down almost all of Red Skull's global locations. Those sites are now running low on resources and on the run. But there's a catch. One final location remains. It's completely off the grid and out of their control. Worse yet, in just 48 hours, a group of deep cover agents within the US government plans to wipe it off the map, erasing all evidence and clearing the way for Red Skull's return, and another war. Bucky makes the call, then we get there first. But Contessa has one more detail. Good luck with that, because the Red Skull is in Latveria. Latveria, a small Eastern European nation known for good beer, a ruthless dictator, and being nearly impossible to infiltrate. Not exactly ideal. Next, we see the Thunderbolts heading toward Latveria. Joining the team are Shang-Chi and John Walker, forming a lineup that looks a lot like what we've seen in the MCU. Shang-Chi is now officially part of the squad, even though his recruitment happens off-panel. Meanwhile, Walker can't stop bragging, so the team tries to squeeze some intel out of him. But to their surprise, he didn't come alone. He brought someone with him, Todd Ziller. So who is Todd Ziller? He's also known as the American Kaiju, a massive super soldier engineered with PIM particles, Kurt Connor's lizard serum, and other experimental tech. Think Godzilla, but made in the USA. Bucky tries to recruit Ziller to join him, but before anything can move forward, Red Skull remotely activates a hidden program. Authorization, Weltführer. Program, Troubleshooter. Protocol, Omega. Remove safety protocols and begin immediately. Ziller suddenly mutates into a towering beast, rampaging through the city with no control. Chaos erupts, and everyone urges Bucky to take him down. But Bucky hesitates. He knows what it's like to be weaponized. He sees a comrade, not just a threat. So instead of ending it, he holds back. As the military launches missiles in a desperate attempt to stop Ziller, Shang-Chi offers another solution. He hands Bucky one of his rings. With the ring's power, Bucky transforms, matching Ziller in size and strength. Now, it's a giant versus giant showdown. Bucky Barnes, supersized by Shang-Chi's magic, faces off against the uncontrollable American kaiju. The battle is massive, and the pressure is on. Everyone's shouting for Bucky to end it. But in the middle of it all, he realizes something. Every life matters, even one that's been twisted and used. Instead of delivering a fatal blow, Bucky knocks Ziller out cold. Right then, John Walker, who had just thrown his shield to protect Ziller, shouts, "Don't kill my friend." After the dust settles, Bucky and Walker share a brief but meaningful moment, and that becomes the turning point. Walker officially joins the Thunderbolts. At first, John Walker refused to believe that Red Skull had returned. But once Todd Ziller was remotely activated by Skull himself, all doubt vanished. It was clear, Red Skull was back, and he'd been pulling the strings from the shadows. Walker, known for his extreme patriotism and rigid worldview, almost like a version of Frank Simpson, aka Nuke, finally chose a side. He joined the Thunderbolts to stop the growing threat. With their mission set, the Thunderbolts launched an operation targeting Red Skull's final stronghold, Latveria. But before they could make a move, a message arrived from none other than Dr. Doom. Doom didn't mince words. "Doom has been watching you, Bucky Barnes. But don't confuse gratitude with foolishness. The rumors about Red Skull hiding in Latveria? Nonsense. My country has never been tainted by the likes of him, and your request for unrestricted operation within my borders? Denied. If you dare trespass, you'll be ash in 10 minutes. So naturally the Thunderbolts went in anyway. They infiltrated a hidden facility believed to be Red Skull's final base. And sure enough, he was there, waiting. Red Skull greeted them with cold sarcasm. "Hello, my precious Thunderbolts. You are so cordially welcome. Behold what I have done with 80 years of imagination, unseen by the so-called gods of your century. And of course, the ever-ignorant Doom. Witness the seeds of genocide before they grow into a world tree of purity. Come and see. For you have faced the shadow of hatred so many times, little soldiers, but now you face her master." It was a chilling, calculated declaration. Bucky and his team knew exactly what they were up against and how little time they had. Doom would detect the intrusion in 10 minutes. The countdown had already begun. The Thunderbolts launched a full-scale assault, throwing everything they had at Red Skull. But he was more than just a figurehead. This version of Skull wasn't hiding behind lackeys. He fought like a warrior, with the strength, precision, and tactical skill rivaling Captain America himself. In another reality, he even went by the name Stivel. He quickly gained the upper hand, outmaneuvering each member of the Thunderbolts. Taking him down was no easy task. But Bucky didn't fight out of anger or revenge. He fought with focus, determination, and the belief that this was the moment to end it all. Rather than charge in recklessly, Bucky chose a smarter approach, baiting Red Skull, waiting for the perfect moment to expose a weakness. Red Skull locks eyes with Bucky and sneers. "Ready to die, kid? You prepared for the pain you brought on yourself?" But Bucky remains calm and answers coldly. "Pain doesn't scare me, Skull. I'm not the kid you once knew. That version of me is long gone." Red Skull smirks. "No, that kid was smart. Brave? You're just a walking corpse wearing his face. What, come back to bury yourself?" Without hesitation, Bucky launches into a relentless assault, catching Skull off guard. Their fight rages on until Red Guardian steps in and asks, "So, is this the final act? Is this what it all comes down to?" Bucky doesn't explain. He simply says, "Run." He turns back to Skull and says, "You're the corpse, Skull, thriving in darkness. I know exactly what that's like. Maybe it's time we both stepped into the light." Skull laughs dismissively. "Little speeches? Trite lessons about light and dark? Is that all you have left, Barnes?" Bucky responds, You and your kind tried to make me an assassin. You're a lone wolf, too isolated to ever truly take you down. But I've learned a little something from your playbook along the way. I took your secrets, your money, your levers of power, and I found your last hiding place. Did you really think my friends and I were trying to beat you in a boxing match? We were just waiting for the locals. That one line, waiting on the locals, was the signal. In a flashback, we're taken back to 1944. Bucky, Steve Rogers, Dum Dum Dugan, and their squad were marching toward Castle Zemo. The castle gates were locked, the villagers outside starving. The squad tried to breach it for days, but nothing worked. The townspeople, though initially friendly, were terrified of Zemo. One man in Bucky's unit, Chick, a former boxer and natural storyteller, was especially close to Steve. One day, Chick invited Steve and Bucky to grab a drink in the village. They were underage, but they went anyway. The bartender shook his head. No dollars, only Deutschmarks. Chick realized there wasn't a single Deutschmark in the entire village. Zemo had taken them all, hoarded them in a vault near the castle as a symbol of control. So Bucky, Steve, and Chick blew open the vault and brought the treasure back to the town. For a week, the village celebrated using Zemo's own wealth. Eventually, the people rose up, stormed the castle, and drove Zemo out chanting, "No dollars, Deutschmarks." The lesson was clear. Liberation doesn't come from outsiders. It comes when the people themselves take a stand. Back in the present, Bucky echoes the past by speaking one word, Deutschmarks. As soon as he says it, a hidden gate opens, and Dr. Doom steps through. Without hesitation, Doom unleashes his power and incinerates Red Skull on the spot. Then, taking control of Contessa's remote system, Doom broadcasts a message to the world. What you've done here is a grave mistake, and there will be consequences. But Bucky meets his gaze and replies, "No, you saved us. You're part of this team now. Dr. Doom, you're a Thunderbolt." The story ends with the team gathering together, raising a glass to victory. And with calm determination, Bucky asks the question on everyone's mind. So, who's next?